Good evening. Welcome to the February 2nd, 2021 edition of the Downers Grove Village Council meeting. With DuPage currently operating in Tier 1 mitigations, we are once again in council chambers, something for which I think we are all really thankful. It's good to see everybody again. We do have public seating here, but please remain mindful of the total person limits and IDPH best practice guidance. Commissioner Colavani is not here as he continues to battle COVID, but we got a text from him earlier in the week, which is pretty exciting. And we certainly continue to wish Rich and his family the best. As always, we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Barnett,
Here.
Commissioner Jose,
Here.
Commissioner Earl,
Here.
Commissioner Wallace,
Here.
Commissioner Sadowski-Fugit,
Here.
Commissioner Colavani, Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Thank you. Public comments of a general nature, not for a specific agenda item. We're going to continue to have those at the end of the meeting, allowing for the opportunity for electronic comment to still come in through the course of the meeting. So with that, is there a motion concerning prior council minutes?
Mayor, I move the council adopt the January 19th, 2021 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Any council questions or comments on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Item 4 is our consent agenda. Is there a motion concerning the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move that the council adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any council comments or questions on the consent agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That too is unanimous. Just like that, we are on item 5 of our agenda. It's the active agenda portion of tonight's meeting. These are items which have typically been discussed prior, sometimes more than once. They're items we intend to take some action on this evening. So with that, is there a motion concerning Tyler Technologies?
Mayor, I move that the council authorize the execution of a contract for an enterprise resource planning system to Tyler Technologies, Inc. in the amount of $1,765,028 plus 15% contingency in the amount of $264,754.20 for a total not to exceed of $2,029,782.20.
Second.
Are any questions from the audience tonight on this subject? Seeing none. Council comments or questions? Okay, well, I know we're all glad the ERP system continues to move forward. It's a big deal, as we talked about last time, and this is a little dry but exciting progress. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Is there a motion concerning Harris Computer?
Mayor, I move that the council authorize the execution of the contract for an enterprise resource planning system to N. Harris Computer Corporation in the amount of $1,575,530 plus 15% contingency in the amount of $236,329.50 for a total not to exceed of $1,811,859.50 as presented.
Second.
Any questions or commentary from the council? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That too is unanimous. Is there a additional resolution concerning Barry Dunn?
Mayor, I move that the council adopt a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Village of Downers Grove and Barry Dunn McNeil and Parker LLC as presented.
Second.
Any council questions or comments? So for those watching at home and those watching the audience, this is kind of a ridiculous process, right? Nobody's even talking about anything and just saying aye. This is our enterprise resource planning system. We're in the process of replacing it. It has been a several-year prep and will be a several-year execution. So we've been talking about this quite a bit, both here and offline as well, and we're finally at the point of executing on some contracts. So that's why it seems a little bit perfunctory, but it's well thought out stuff that we've talked about quite a bit in the past. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That too passes unanimously. Thank you all. Item 6 on our agenda is the first reading portion of our meeting. This is the portion of the meeting where we take up subjects where we do not intend to take any final action. This tends to be a little bit more of a discussion and informative session. So with that, I'll hand it over to Village Manager Fieldman.
Thank you, Mayor Barnett. There are 2 items on tonight's first reading agenda. Both will be presented by our Community Development Director, Stan Popovich, so I will hand the podium to him.
Thank you, Manager Fieldman. Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's nice to see everyone again. As Manager Fieldman noted, the first item is going to be a historical landmark application at 200 Shady Lane. The property is in Shady Lane Estates here, just north of Ogden Avenue on the east side of town. The property is at the corner of Cumner and Shady Lane, although Cumner and Shady Lane do not intersect, but it is at the corner. The house was built circa 1960 in a mid-century modern design. From the south facade, what we can see here, we see some of the features of the mid-century modern design, the deep overhangs, the gable roof here. We also see the vertical wood siding and then floor-to-ceiling windows here on the right side of the picture. If we look at these facade, this facade features the front entrance here with a little porch and then the stone chimney, all good elements of a mid-century design project. The house is over 50 years old, as it was built in 1960. It is an excellent example of a mid-century modern house. If approved, this would be number 29 of the landmark that we have. So it's been a while since we've had a landmark, but this would be number 29. Our petitioners, Christy and John Penny, are here along with their son, Braden. So if there's any questions I can answer for you this time, I'd be happy to do that.
Thanks, Stan. Council questions or comments? Marge?
I have a comment. Thank you so much for bringing this forward. Stan, as you may remember, I was one who sat there and went through all those files documenting what was in Shady Lane Estates back in the day as a volunteer when we first got this historic preservation stuff going. And I'm thrilled that we finally have one, a mid-century modern, in our collection, so to speak, of houses. We're very proud. It's a lovely neighborhood. It's a lovely home, and thank you so much for bringing it forward. That's all I have.
Thank you, Marge. Anyone else? Dave?
We did have one public comment that was submitted earlier in the remarks in support of this, and I was just informed that we received a real-time public comment that Deputy Manager Mike Baker could read into the record if it's
You bet.
to the council.
Sure.
Thank you.
This comment came in about 6:30 this evening from resident Kathleen Nybo, who writes, "The home at 200 Shady Lane is a real beauty. It's an excellent example of a 1960s house. It is amazing that the exterior has never been changed. The neighborhood shows that people care about their homes, love all the trees, so deserving of a street called Shady Lane. This is a wonderful gift that they have given our community and our future residents. Please approve their application for being recognized as a landmark home in Downers Grove."
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy, if you're watching at home, and thanks, Mike, for bringing that in. Any other council comments or questions? I'll just kind of piggyback on Marge's comments. Thank you guys for doing this. This program is important to our community, and it's a largely volunteer exercise, which means we need volunteers. I think this is probably one of the newest homes in terms of age, and that's awesome, because as every year goes by, more homes become eligible, and for those that want to take the time to plant down a piece of our history, it's really helpful to the community. So thank you guys for doing this. Braden, thanks for coming. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add?
Just want to say thank you to the village.
Could you come up to the microphone? That way the people at home can actually hear you too.
Just want to thank the Village of Downers Grove and everybody that was involved with the landmarking process, and my wife are really taking it to the next level. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love living in Downers Grove. It is the best place on earth, and I love living in Shady Lane. And Downers Grove is one of the best places in the world.
Fantastic. Thanks for saying that. All right. That's a tough act to follow, Stan.
And it's not a very exciting act either, so. I class of dedication are just excitement to come here. So the next item, Mayor, if I can all return to some seriousness here, is a plat of dedication for Wisconsin Avenue. We're on the west side of town now here by Belmont Road. As you can see on the image here, Wisconsin Avenue runs east to west, left to right on the screen. The public road is maintained by the village. The Park District, Sterling Park North, has a leg that extends into Wisconsin Avenue, which bisects the right-of-way here shown in yellow. So the Park District, in working with the village, is going to dedicate approximately 23,200 square feet of land to the village for the right-of-way. So our new right-of-way will encompass the entire road where it doesn't now. So if there's any questions I can answer for you, Mayor and council members, I'd be happy to do that as well.
Any council questions, comments? Stan, thanks for staying on this. These are some funky things that we come across every once in a while, and it's good to clean them up and square things up and make sure everybody's on the same page. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor. Thank you.
That ends our first reading tonight, Mayor.
Thanks, Dave. Is there a manager report?
Quickly, as everybody knows, we had nearly 12 and a half inches of snow over the weekend. We have been on a 24-hour-a-day snow and ice clearing operation since the onset of that storm. The results of our team's effort has been nothing short of exceptional. We met our performance standards that are posted in our snow policy, which we almost always do. And frankly, any snow greater than 4 inches, it becomes quite a challenge to operate within those established performance standards. Our team did an excellent job and actually finished up several hours in advance of the performance standards that we posted online. If any resident is interested, just click snow policy on the search bar. It'll come right up and you can learn more about our plans and how we operate to remove snow and ice. So just a special thank you to all members of our snow and ice team, from the drivers, of course, but also to the fleet techs who keep those vehicles running and the managers who direct those operations. A job well done to everybody on our team. Thank you, Mayor. That's it for this evening.
Thank you, Dave. I certainly want to echo your sentiments. It was a job well done, and it's, 12 and a half inches is a lot of snow. Everybody knows that. But some perspective, I'll get these numbers wrong, but you'll get the point. There's 167 miles of roads in Downers Grove. There are 333 cul-de-sacs, plus a lot of public parking lots. And that's just a lot of pushing and a lot of snow to move around and a lot to deal with. And I think we do a pretty good job of it. And it's really a testament to the crew, because they figure out how to get together and work continuously. When you think about that, snow doesn't come down at our convenience. And so our teams in Public Works are really Johnny on the spot, and we appreciate the work they do. Make sure you tell them we said thanks.
Will do. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, this is the public comments section of the meeting. If there's anybody that has any public comments, if you guys have anything not on the agenda that you want to mention, that'd certainly be okay. Otherwise, Mike, would you do another run past the remark system?
Nothing further.
Okay. There were 2 other remarks that are shown on our website, on this week's meeting's website. They'll be part of the record as well. They came in over the last couple of days. So with that, is there an attorney report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Only one item tonight, and that is an ordinance accepting dedication of the south half of Wisconsin Avenue between Belmont and Sterling North Park. That's all, Mayor. That'll be on next week's active agenda. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Enza. Item 10 on our agenda tonight, mayor and council member reports. This is an opportunity in the meeting for council members to report out on things of importance to them or that are going on in the community they might be connected with, or other government entities that they're connected to. We'll just go down the line. I think we'll start with Kavanaugh tonight. Before you start, orange is my favorite color.
You know what? I don't know where my wife gets these.
That's
from.
awesome.
They just always keep coming, so I always just grab what's closest to me. Thank you, Mayor. I was thinking this, as we've kind of come into Black History Month, one of the things that I was thinking about as I have been knee-deep in getting a son ready for college over the last several weeks, it feels like an entirely separate job on top of the other jobs that we do. And it kind of, you forget how far removed you are from the process. And I think as we've been going through this and looking through letters of acceptance and places that he doesn't want to go, one of the things outside of the academics that I think I'm most proud of has been my son's ability to find commonality. Whether they are individuals that look like him, don't look like him, whatever it might be, I kind of watch them very closely. And so as he takes this next step into his future, I think about the fact or his willingness to want to find commonality. And as I was thinking about this evening, it reminded me of a story with a resident that I had when I first moved into the area. They might not have been a resident, but in the western suburbs. The gentleman was telling me one day that he had been invited to church with someone. And during the service, they asked him to stand up. And he said that he felt so, it must have been a black church, he said he felt so uncomfortable. And when we spoke and he expressed this to me, he said, Kavanaugh, I finally understand in that 3 minutes the black experience. And I thought that was interesting. I didn't respond in the manner in which I kind of wanted to respond, just thought, wow, that's very interesting, that in 3 minutes you have done the work, the heavy lifting, the effort that it takes to find full commonality and understanding of someone else's lifetime, someone else's experience. And so as I dance around trying to get to where I want to go with this, I realized that that gentleman had done in that one interaction, he had done probably all the work that he might ever do in his lifetime to better understand someone else. That was it for him. That 3 minutes of discomfort was all that he might have been willing to do for the rest of his life. I wonder sometimes how many times he's told that story. The significance of what I'm trying to say here is that we have all experienced, been front row to things that we thought that we would never see through the pandemic, through the last few months. And if there was ever a time, I think, to better understand each other, folks that don't look like us, whoever it might be, I think this is the season to do it, whether it's for Black History Month, whether it's in March or 6 months down the road. We are in a season to better understand, and I hope that we have seen enough recently that we would all want to better understand. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Kavanaugh. Marge?
I have no report, Mayor.
Greg?
I have no report here. Thank you.
Leslie?
Yeah, I also have a few words for Black History Month. I'd like to wish everyone an enlightening Black History Month. It's a time to remember that we must not just celebrate heroes of the past, but also activists of the present. We don't get to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. without praising Patrisse Cullors and Alicia Garza and their Black Lives Matter movement. We cannot hail Rosa Parks without celebrating the accomplishments of Tarana Burke, Brian Stevenson, Maya Wiley, Michelle Alexander, Esmeralda Simmons, Laverne Cox, James Rucker and Van Jones, and Ciara Taylor. See, when we celebrate historical figures while conveniently ignoring those civil rights leaders of the present, it's easier to put our country's timeline into neat little boxes, to say that racism no longer exists here, when really, all we've done is gone from slavery to Jim Crow laws to redlining, and now to more covert ways to perpetuate racial inequities without ever acknowledging from an ethical or financial standpoint the impact that our history has had on Black families, particularly those descended from slaves. There are peer-reviewed studies from Harvard that suggest that when someone has a name that is more often associated with a Black applicant, they're less likely to be hired than a predominantly white name with an identical resume. We know due to redlining and white flight that areas much like the one we're living in now had a history as being sundown towns well into the late 20th century. We should question why we have so few Black residents. Why don't we have more non-white representation? And how do we have those uncomfortable conversations with each other and ourselves? So my hope for this Black History Month in the wake of George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, Daniel Prude, Breonna Taylor, Tatiana Jefferson, Ora Roser, Stephen Clark, Belton Jean, Philandro Castile, Alton Sterling, Michelle Cusseau, Freddie Gray, Janisha Fonville, Eric Gardner, Akai Gurley, Gabriela Navarez, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, and Tanisha Anderson, that we truly seek to educate ourselves not only on historical figures, but also those in the present who are risking their lives to advance civil rights in America. Really, the goal is that one day we don't need this month, but rather we celebrate the accomplishments of Black Americans the way we have for white the entirety of the existence of the United States of America, and recognize and work together to tear down the enormous mountain we have created for Black Americans to climb in order to reach the starting line where we white Americans were born. And on that note, I have a public Facebook post with an anti-racist educational opportunities to start the process. So let us all work together and do better together. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a couple comments. I mean, thank you to my colleagues who spoke about Black History Month. It really is wonderful to be back here in person, and just to interact in this way. It's so different being here in person. So I appreciate those comments and appreciate being here with as a council tonight, minus Commissioner Culvaney, who we are still thinking about sending good vibes to and praying for, and we've all made a little shift this way, and I want to shift back this way with him joining us soon. Lastly, Ice Fest is going on this weekend in downtown Downers Grove on Friday, February 7th from 5:30 to 7:30, and Saturday from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. It's a great opportunity to get out of the house and be outside. Please continue to wear a mask, stay safe, and continue to be kind and show each other grace. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I didn't have anything that I wanted to say, but in listening to Kavanaugh, I wanted to say, piggyback on that a little bit. Commonality is so important, and the thing is, you have to want to find it. Commonality requires effort. It requires effort. You can't do 2 minutes in a conversation and think you've established commonality. It's a constant thing, and it's true with old neighbors and young neighbors. It's true across races. It's true across religions. It's true across ethnicities. That's something that it's good for us to be reminded, that commonality is important to seek, and it's good for us to remember that seeking it is a never-ending challenge. It's not just in February. It's not just in January for a celebration. It's not just in June. It's not just during the holidays. You have to want to find commonality, and you have to work at it. And so I really appreciate you bringing that up and pointing that out, and I want to encourage everybody to reflect on that and think about it in your daily lives. Seeking commonality is how you get past differences, and seeking commonality is how you enjoy the benefits of the fact that we're all here, the fact that we're all making up this community or this nation together. Thanks for that, Kavanaugh. That was an important word, and I think an important way of presenting it. So thank you for that. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all, and good night.